welcome to the CatBot AI podcast. My name is Catherine Brinkman. I will be one of your co-hosts. We are going to be talking about Optimus from Tesla. Now, I am from Silicon Valley, one of those rarities that's actually born in San Francisco. And I remember when the Tesla factory used to be Toyota. Imagine that. For those of you not in the Valley, well, you wouldn't know. Used to be a Toyota factory. We are going to be talking about how these humanoids are going to be helping us, in my opinion. And I have another individual here with me. I have my lovely co-facilitator, co-host, Ken. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Well, first of all, at least they kept the T, right? Toyota, Tesla, there you go. But yes, I'm Ken Penachini. Glad to be here with all of you today. I'll love everything to do with tech and robotics. How about having a robot in your own home?
Sign me up.
Because that's a few things we're going to talk about today is the affordability level of it, which is actually pretty impressive, and how long it could actually last and what it could do. So we have an exciting show here based on what you could do with your $20,000 to $30,000 investment, which sounds like a lot right now, but when you consider what it'll do, it might balance out in the end. And who knows what the resale value is? It might actually be like a boat instead of a car.
For people that don't know that, the best day is when you buy the boat, and the next best day is when you sell the boat.
Yes, they say it's a hole in the water where you could throw money, basically. But it is fantastic. I do not think that applies here, though, when it comes to robotics, because it may be the actuators and all that. But
I think we're going to have fun with today's podcast because everybody's talking about it. It's been a long time in the making. We've seen the little videos for years, and now all of a sudden they actually did a dry run where we had an Optimus that was a bartender. They were a valet. They were just randomly mixing and mingling with people, and the humans were asking very detailed questions, and they were getting really good responses where a few tech people down in the valley actually were like, this is kind of scary. So
now, question, I don't mean to cut you off there, but I had heard that there were human operators in that show.
Let me roll my eyes again. Look, the concept is super cool. I don't care if it talks to me or not. If it can sit and pour cocktails and fold my laundry and make me dinner, it doesn't need to talk.
I think, too, what a lot of people miss on that with the whole, there were people controlling it at the time. It wasn't so much to show off what the artificial intelligence of it, it was to show the range of movement and how it could act like a person. So yes, it may have had someone behind the controls at the time because they haven't moved on to getting the logic just right and the movements just right and all that.
We'll see. I do believe that there are generative AI functions that we are not aware of, and I think that there is voiceover stuff we are not aware of. And I'm not sold on the fact that it might have been like a setup. It might have been real, in my opinion. Again, the fact that it was able to just be snarky and funny with, I don't know if you saw the thing with the driver's license where the guy was like, wait a minute, this is a credit card. It was just funny. So at the end of the day, the dexterity of that hand to look at the credit card, hand it back, and it not be clunky, it sold me. That sold me.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about Elon Musk, obviously, controversial figure-ish. It's not just a smart home device. It's really an autonomous robot that is designed to help with those tasks that are just like we have to do them. We don't want to do them. I had to clean my bathroom this weekend. I don't want to spend an hour doing that. And there's
so it's like a grown-up Roomba, basically. I'm kidding.
Kind of, right? You can program it to run your vacuum cleaner. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, see, it'll replace, the poor Roomba.
I mean,
maybe they'll rebel.
So, I mean, let's talk about this a little bit. What are the optics on what this robot, Optimus, looks like? 5'8".
So,
right?
Oh, you're talking about the actual specifications.
I'm going to do the specs right now. It's 5'8". It's not ominous, right?
No, they didn't want to make it, 6'5" or anything, or Terminator style.
I mean, it's only 160 pounds. I might have issues with that, but it's only 160 pounds of metal, I guess.
That's before you get the bulletproof upgrade and the bathroom cleaning upgrade.
Facts. And then also, it really is the dexterity part of that it's not clunky, that it can pick things up, that it can move. It's not necessarily 360, but the range of motion is 200 degrees. So it can look around and see things before you do, potentially.
And you can pretty well bet there's some kind of sensor or camera in the back of it as well. It just may not have the ability to rotate its head all the way, which I guess some people didn't want to see the Exorcist in robotic form. So
I would. Just do it. Let's go. Let's go all in. Just be a robot that's helping me out. You clean the room and you do 360 and you find out where my junk is, by all means. Please.
well, one thing with the weight of it too and everything it does, the fact that it has that battery, and I'm reading it right now, it is a 2.3 kilowatt hour battery that can be for a full day. So it's a full day charge. And at night, hopefully it'll go self charge itself, right? It's connected to the internet, so it's got Wi-Fi and LTE, so you could bring it with you. Or Catherine, I think you mentioned too, driving it around possibly. That could be a point in the future. And the good thing about this too is if they get the hardware right, which is kind of what they were showing at that show, is the hardware is mobile enough and the hardware is dexterous enough where it can complete these smaller tasks, fine-tuned tasks, then it can be upgraded via software later or some kind of expansion, or who knows. They'll have something.
So in practicality, if it's doing your laundry, I don't know about you, but I think that the dryer is like a sock monster, and I get like pairs, and sometimes I'm in a jam. I'm just gonna wear 2 socks that don't match. That's me, right? Optimus can actually go ahead and see, oh wait a minute, those 2 socks don't match. It will correct itself and go find the other sock. Now, if the sock monster gets it, I don't know if it can go in and find it, but the bottom line, it's not going to pair 2 socks that don't match. It can fix itself, so it won't do that. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the capacity for learning that it has, definitely. I'd like to learn more details too, and I will actually delve more into the design behind the AI and its learning capabilities, and whether or not when it learns something, it can share it with other robots on the network and all that. Which brings up actually a pretty good point about them. You're going to have and a lot of, I mean, let's be fair, we all have phones, Alexas, or I don't have an Alexa or anything like that, but everyone has a phone at least, generally.
Some of us do.
Yeah, I know.
We've evolved. Anyway, continue.
But how comfortable are you going to be with something that watches you directly every single day and watches what you do?
Bro, they already are, dude. Like, it's just, I made the decision a long time ago. It's out there. It's there. People screenshot stuff, I'm sure, since like a gazillion years ago on me. At a certain point, you don't need to care anymore. As long as you're like within legal limits, I think it's okay. And even like we talked earlier, like if you're in a state where, we'll talk about cannabis, if it's not necessarily allowed yet.
Right.
Is Optimus going to call you in and be like, yo, you're smoking a bong, can you come over? Probably not. If you murder
gonna accuse
someone,
Optimus of narking on you? Is that what you're saying?
Optimus, I don't think is going to be a narc. I think that there's bigger things that Elon Musk had. I mean, again, Joe Rogan, he smoked on Joe Rogan. Let's go there. At the end of the day, yes, it's watching you. So potentially you may actually behave better because you know it is watching you.
That's a good point, and a lot of people are going to want to have it anyway. And I mean, you could always tell it to go in the other room, I guess.
You can also turn it off. Turn it off. Put it in a garage. Put it somewhere else. I hate that I even call it it. We talked about that earlier. The robot.
Yes, you want to anthropomorphize it. Yes.
There's ways where you can disconnect. But also, we need to realize, like, everybody is being watched. The games of we're not and we have privacy, they left a couple of years ago. So
yes.
I've just embraced it. It is what it is. Go with it.
That's fair.
That's as I knock the mic. That is what I think.
That's fair. Well, when you knock the mic, I'm sure
very
it's
animated on that. Just go with it. Just go with it, people.
You're like, just go with it. Just do it.
For the love of God.
Do it now. Remember that Shia LaBeouf video?
Yeah.
It's a good meme.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to get one. He needs a driver. Did I say that? I did.
Yes. So that also brings up a very good point. Now we already have autonomous vehicles that are being put into service, but it could technically be your designated driver.
And when you think about it, like the whole vibe with autonomous vehicles is like, do I trust it? Do I still need to pay attention? You could potentially have Optimus as your backup. So you could have three backups. One, you have the cameras on the vehicle based on whoever the manufacturer was. Two, you can have Optimus as the backup. And then, yes, there's you as the human. That is the backup.
If you can get Optimus out of the chair there, yeah.
Oh, gosh. I mean, it's a simple task, so really, I think that's when you listen to what Elon says, he's always like, oh, you're going to have an assistant. You're going to have an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
This is, again, why if it can talk to me or not, okay, whatever. If I could use it as a podcast, if I could use it to listen to a podcast, I should say. If it
No. Say what you were going to say. You were going to say co-host. She's trying to get rid of me, everybody. You heard it. You heard it here first.
We could have a third person. We could have a third person. Yeah, I already referred to her as a person. Oh my God, this is how much I've already adapted to like knowing it's coming and wanting it. I loved the Jetson as a kid, let's be honest. Why don't we all have a Rosie?
Well, essentially that's what it's going to be, except
that's
legs
exactly
instead
what
of a... At least that's the vision for it. That's the vision for it. But, yeah, so what do you think about people that are concerned about ethical implications of it? I mean, there's already people with, let's say, far less sophisticated robots that have issues with.
Yeah, as I wrote, because my brother made a comment that I won't repeat on here, but his immediate thing was like, great, you can program it to do stuff that you shouldn't do it. So we talk a lot about, cybersecurity and being responsible and ethics on here. There's always going to be bad actors. I'm hoping that there are certain speech analytics that can be used that go ahead and actually vary within the words you use, the tone, the pacing, and pick up on that emotional standpoint when you are talking to Optimus, that it hits some kind of a quote-unquote kill switch.
Yeah,
that you can't do that kind of stuff.
Or it'll go by, restriction. A good question for it too, though, or about it is, and I'm not sure what the answer is, we'll have to look it up. When it is deployed large scale, let's say in residential homes and all this, if someone were to break into your house, can Optimus defend you?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I would want it to. I 100%, like, I live in downtown Columbus, which is not necessarily safe. I'll say it. And when I walk the dogs late at night, I would love to have one of these because it would freak people out. They'd leave me alone. I would feel totally safe. One, it can be a ginormous flashlight. Two, it's like walking with somebody else. And three, people are going to be like, oh, now, when I say, oh, like, oh, shit, look at that. I don't want to mess with that person. Well, now, the question comes into, are you arming it? That, I think, is where that's the gray area.
There's that, and does it need to be armed? Like, we're not talking about the first one that comes out, but let's say one that's way...
Let's say 5 years from now. Is it a black belt in karate?
Is it itself a weapon? I mean, it could, just like The Matrix, right? Upload, I know Kung Fu.
I view it as a bodyguard. I really do. I honestly, the reason I'm so excited is I view it as it's a butler. It can be a maid, a house cleaner, a cook. It could be a masseuse. There's already places in New York City that have automated massage where it's a robot doing it with hands. It's not, that sounds so wrong, but it is what it is. And it's out there. So why wouldn't I want to drop $20K or $30K on a masseuse that can sit and give me a massage every morning, somebody that can go ahead and act like a Lumi and I can breathe into it and it's telling me what I should be eating and what amount, etc. It's cooking for me so I don't have to deal with that nonsense. Then it's cleaning the house every day. Like, my dog has allergies. She sneezes. I have to vacuum every other day. Optimus could be doing that.
That's a good point. I mean, I'm totally with you. And just real quick, back to the safety thing. It's also deterrent because it's always recording, right? I mean,
right. That's the word I was thinking. Deterrent.
There is one. I'm gonna go back to what you're saying earlier, but there is one thing that has started to happen in certain cities, and that is they will literally tow away people's Teslas near a crime scene so they can pull the footage from it. So they technically could take your Optimus if it was around a crime. Right now, I mean, the laws just aren't in place for that kind of thing yet.
But you would pull a camera from other places as well. You go into a convenience store, you go into a home if they have a Nest or something, or a Ring camera, and you're going to go in and you're going to take it.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, in this case, it was people's car.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. So yeah. I think this is my thought. In time, it will be easier to download this information from someone's personal property.
Should they be allowed to, though? Because the case for misuse in that is very high. Let's say not everybody in the law enforcement office there is a clean cop, quote unquote, and if some guy uses his downloader to, or his software that he's got for nefarious means, there's
then
always
maybe
that concern,
don't be a jerk and follow the law. Maybe the overall policing, we're getting like way off on a tangent.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's okay because I think it's germane. I would think that you would be a complete moron if you didn't realize that you're getting filmed and you wouldn't like act a little bit above board, especially on public streets, when you know you're being watched. Now, what you do in your own home is completely a separate situation because that's your private property, that's your whole sanctuary, blah, 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 whatever. Mm-hmm. That is, I think, a gray area and very, very ethics. We need to dig into that deeper and laws need to be written. If it comes on the street and you get caught killing somebody or like selling a bunch of heroin, yeah, that's on you. I'm glad we have cameras. I'm glad that Tesla got, taken as evidence for a little bit for the camera. Tough shit.
Yeah, I get that. Definitely. I would hope that eventually, once this becomes a large scale rollout and everything, there's limitations to what the AI will give somebody who is not its user, let's say.
Fair. So that's a good point because then I would have to I'd have to sign a waiver.
Or just give it verbal consent. Like if instead of taking it, it could call you.
It's taking a statement, thinking of it just like a human. Again, I know I'm personifying a robot, but it's like it's giving a statement to the police, and you have to then. It's like it's a minor. You have to let your kid say, "Hey, I witnessed this." You can go talk to them. Mm-hmm. The AI is your kid. The robot's your kid.
Now we're treading in dangerous territory too, aren't we? Because people are going to start loving their Optimus.
It's all dangerous. That's the whole point. That's what's exciting about it.
I think it's going to happen, definitely. And I mean, it's inevitable. It's already happening. So it's something that everyone is going to have to get used to. That's for sure. And I think it will improve the daily lives for a lot of people, especially let's say you're older, right? You need to take a certain amount of meds. You need to help getting up the stairs or, remember the old commercials, I've fallen and I can't get up.
Right.
Optimus could help you. It's smart. I'd say smart enough, but it's been programmed and has enough data to know that you're in distress and will be able to call the authorities instead of a life alert. That was it. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I think the other thing that people need to talk about is the affordability. Like right now, today, if you were to buy it, it's probably going to be upwards of 100, 150K, right? Because it's not in mass production. As it gets more mass produced and the adoption rate increases, Musk is trying to put it at like 20K. That's still a lot.
So, for instance, like me, I've been online all day today working, and I didn't have time to, let's say, make dinner or in case order dinner or anything like that. You're working late into the night. The Optimus could actually handle that for you. So there is that option too. So it has that give and take of taking mundane duties or something that you might forget off of your plate and letting you focus more on what you want to do. So it's more like kind of like ChatGPT right now is already, and I use that example a lot because it's my favorite large language learning model right now, commercially one. How that has given people back a lot of their time. This will be the same thing, but in a physical sense as well. I mean, it could be your workout companion. It could be your, all this type of stuff.
Dude, that's another thing. It could be your trainer. So, I mean, I just quickly, very, very lightly typed in some numbers. If you get a massage, it's usually about like $125 for an hour. If you want to get that weekly, that's around $6,500 a year. If you order Uber Eats and you are low end, $65, That's almost 7K if you get Uber Eats 2 times a week. So right there, you're almost at 13 within 1 year of saving. And then you factor in the way that I rationalize this, because when I was living in New York, I always felt guilty sending my laundry out to get done. And then one day I literally thought out, how much do I make an hour? How much do I spend doing laundry? What's the cost of the detergent? What's the cost of actually using the machine? What's the cost of when the dryer messes up and I have to put more money in, which is like, it was around, this is very nerdy and I'm sorry, it was around 12% of the time. So when I did the math, I thought, dude, it's cheaper. I'm losing money when I do my laundry. I need to send my laundry out. So I ended up saving, and this again is for one person and living in New York, so pricing is going to be a bit skewed. But I ended up saving around $1,000 a year by sending it out based on my time. So then I add another 1,000. I'm at $14,000. Then you start to factor in the vacuuming, the overall cleaning aspect. I know that they said it could walk your dogs and babysit your kids. I don't know about that. I may use it.
Wait. You're gonna trust it to do everything else and protect you, but you're not gonna trust it to walk your dogs?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't know.
What if the dogs really love
it more?
What if the dogs really love? Oh, it's a him now. Okay. What's your Optimus's name?
I'm not gonna say that. I don't even want to admit. I feel like I'm probably turning red. I don't even want to admit that I've already come up with the name that I would get.
And an outfit, of course, and then all mannerisms of how you would
totally an ensemble, completely 3-piece suit, bro, with a tuxedo. Let's be honest, that's what it's gonna wear.
Sounds good.
Maybe different jerseys depending on what game is on. If it's serving hors d'oeuvres at a party, we don't know. That's the cool thing. You can dress it up. It's hardware that you can play with. It's almost like clay that can do things for you.
Well, some would argue that clay, you could make something, artistic sculpture
that might
does
be a bad
things
analogy.
for you. Fair enough.
So no, I would not let it walk my dogs until I saw it a few times. Just like, this is why when I use Rover, there's a dog greeting before I leave my dogs overnight with somebody. Usually you interview a babysitter for human kids. You don't just be like, yo, here's my kids, bye.
Fair.
So in time, maybe, and if there's machine learning that got to know the dogs and understand their triggers, like I have one that's just clueless and loves everybody, doesn't care. I have another one that if you are a dog person, totally picks up on it and is fine. And if you're not a dog person, he picks up on it and it's not fine. Conversely, this same dog that's like a 50-50 with adults loves kids, but he doesn't realize that not all kids love dogs. So
right.
Optimus would have to know the difference.
And yeah, it very easily could save those, kind of like how ChatGPT will save your preferences and how you talk and all that. True. Now. So, I mean, we have that technology already exists and it could learn from that.
I would let it walk the dogs, I guess. It would have to learn.
How long till you let it actually pet the dog first, though?
You're asking me these questions that I don't know. I think it's just depending on, to your point, how does the dog react? Is the dog going to be like, dude, this is a super cool giant toy, I love it? Or is this some kind of monster and I hate it?
That's like what if the dog chews on the Optimus?
My dogs are small. I don't have that problem. Other people might.
Okay, but for those who have bigger dogs.
Also, like, I thought about it. I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to drop 20K. What if there's some kind of, like, situation where there's a fire or there's water? Do we get to insure this? Like, what do we do here?
They're going to offer insurance. Yeah, they're going to offer insurance. I guarantee they'll offer insurance.
And then are you able to take the brain of Optimus and put it in a new Optimus?
I would imagine so. I think that would be a huge selling point, and plus a huge opportunity for them to upsell.
So what I'm hearing is Elon should hire me to sell these. I listened to that. I picked up on it. Empathetic listening.
Good. I like that. Yes, he should. That's right, Mr. Musk. We implore you to hire Catherine to sell Optimus. Yeah. And as a finder's fee, all I request is one.
We can get you on a lifetime plan.
Okay.
That could be a nice upsell. Anyway, I'm sorry. We're kidding. So talk about the broader implications of this, though. Like, we were talking a little bit about the ethics.
Right.
We talked a little about older people. I'm thinking, like, I'm going to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. 5 years from now, you're 10-year-old and you have this Optimus. What do you think that kid's viewpoint is going to be on like doing chores and having a work ethic?
That is a very good point to consider. They could say let Optimus do it, but it's the same thing with let's say a family who's very well off and buying their kids everything and giving them everything type situation. Like maybe the kid cleans his own room.
People, right? Like let's be like super super general. Optimus is, I know to swim I had to clean the pool and maintain the pH level and all that nonsense. So that was my reward for being able to use the pool. I know first world problems. Also, my brother mowed the lawn. Now you have Optimus. Optimus can clean the pool. Optimus can mow the lawn. What are we supposed to do to have a work ethic?
Well, in that case, it would be up to the parents and possibly, depending on Optimus's operating system and all that type of stuff, it could actually be told that, okay, don't do chores the kids ask you to do. That type of thing.
So do you think we're ready for a robot in our homes like this?
In general, I would say, I mean, for you and I, obviously, yes, I would love it. In general, a lot of people are going to be leery of it first, for sure. There's going to be a bunch of bad news, bad press, all this type of stuff that comes out. And then the bigger concern people are going to have is, because they're going to be rolled out to businesses first, and then maybe a home, they'll start doing that, is they'll start seeing these Optimuses in their workplace, too, and may be concerned about their job getting replaced by an Optimus. You know, and let's be honest, there are some dangerous jobs that people do that could be done by a piece of machinery like this that could actually save lives. So it's kind of a mix there.
I still believe that there are going to be new jobs created.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
I was talking to someone yesterday, and they were not a fan of Optimus because they said that same thing. That it's going to take my job. It's going to, like, why? What do I need to do? I'm going to sit on my butt all day? And my reaction was, well, if you could do anything where you didn't have to work and you could sit on your butt all day, would you actually sit on your butt all day? No, I would do this, this, and this. I was like, so that becomes your career.
Mm-hmm.
And I also believe that there's always going to be a need for someone to be in charge of the robots.
Of course, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't even think it'll replace your standard manager and all that. And
I mean, it should for some people.
That is true. And maybe some companies will implement this, but at least in the way that artificial intelligence is now, wouldn't make a very good manager necessarily, especially with all the nuances of human interaction and all that.
I guess what I'm thinking with it is it could also, there's so many different options. And again, I don't like calling it, I feel bad. Optimus.
Because it's going to watch this.
Could be.
It's going to come
It probably will at some point. It might. We don't know.
Yeah, they're in the middle of the night. I know what you said about me, Catherine.
And then it's like, where's the kill switch? I'm so sorry. When I'm thinking about this, so it could be, like, to your point, where people want it to be humanized. I would give it a name. I would dress it up. Do I want it to have, like, a textury skin-like skin on it? Do I want it to have eyes and a mouth? No. It is a robot. It is an assistant. I would like it to talk if needed. Now, let's say this. If you are someone that wants a full-on, like, humanoid, and you have some mental health issues, or you have really, really low self-confidence, and you're always questioning things, potentially this could be your quote-unquote buddy or your therapist. And then if at a certain point, again, based on speech analytics, your body temperature, all of these different things that it's reading, Optimus could then ping your therapist and be like, hey, Catherine is struggling with this. She needs to book an appointment. So there's a health component to it. It can.
But that's kind of. Do you want to be psychoanalyzed by your, the robot?
I'm not. I don't think you're psychoanalyzing because I'm going off speech analytics.
Fair enough. No, I'm saying
your body temperature. I mean,
do you want it to be able to autonomously make calls like that, or better yet, I would have it talk to the person first and say, "Hey, it'd be a great idea if you contacted this."
Facts. I would appreciate if it would say like, hey, I can pick up that you're feeling blah blah blah.
Right.
I also would appreciate that with a certain history, it would also ping your psychiatrist or your psychologist.
Right. Now, yeah, if you are suffering from a severe condition or something and you allow it to, I do believe, because even Elon Musk has said, AI is moving fast and all this, the concerns he has for it and all that. So I would imagine he's going to approach this in a very pragmatic way where he knows people have these concerns. So but I do think it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I just would be leery about it calling someone on me. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, let's go back to the broader implications then, because it is going to be listening to you. It is recording. It's collecting, because it's recording. I mean, let's be honest, this is basically like an advertising tool. I hate to say that. Yes, there's an end result that it's folding my laundry. It's probably picking up what's my detergent, what's my brand, what's my favorite color. And then all those, the sudden those ads pop up, right? In theory, also what Elon wants it to do, Optimus to do, is do your grocery shopping. So I don't like going to the grocery store anymore. With COVID in New York, it was a pain in the butt, so I was like, I'm just going to order on Amazon. I don't have the need to go to the store anymore. I'm going to say that 90% of the people I know love going to the grocery store. One of the selling points,
not one of them.
one of the selling points for me is Optimus. I can give it a list, and I can be like, bye, please go get the groceries. If most people I know aren't into that, how is Optimus going to fit into homes when people do feel like, gosh, I should be doing that myself?
Well, if that's the case, you could just tell it not to do that. Or come along with you on the grocery trip, and then it can analyze what's in there and all that. And as far as the advertising thing goes, yes, I do believe advertising data will be used. And Ford has even recently patented something for the infotainment system to show ads on it.
What?
Yeah, it was a recent thing. I saw a story on it. So your car's already collecting data on you. I mean, the Optimus will too. Your phone does. I mean, even us doing this podcast right now, my phone is picking up everything I'm saying.
So this again is why I chose a while ago to just embrace it. You're being recorded, behave accordingly. Know what you're saying is potentially going to come back and be used against you. I hate to say that. And I want to just also piggyback a little bit on this concept. When I was at UCLA in 2000, I did a paper on biometrics in London. We're 24 years later. Maybe that is part of why I just am like, oh, they're watching us, fine. 24 years ago, I wrote that paper. So this is not anything new for me to think about. With it watching, with it being aware, with it, the body temperatures, just overall the speech analytics, I'm embracing it.
I agree with you. And there's no avoiding it at this point. I mean, you have to have a phone. It's going to listen to you. Everybody knows it. It's not even a big secret anymore. No, everybody knows it. So this is going to be the same thing. It's just going to be in your house and all that, which is honestly, I would give away that amount, especially if it has the right limits. I would give away that amount of privacy to have that convenience. That's a personal choice of mine. It's a personal choice that each and every person will have to make that decides to jump on the Optimus train, just like the Neuralink, right? If you want a Neuralink, that's another whole.
That's a whole other convo.
Hey, but then Optimus could tell what you're thinking.
That's another convo. And the other thing we have to remember is you cannot get it. You don't have to be on social media. You don't have to use ChatGPT. You don't have to get an Optimus. You are literally opting in to use it. So I think we've gone ahead and we've covered our views on this. We both are opting in. I think one of us is a little more into it than the other. At the end of the day,
Are you saying you're opting in to Optimus?
Oh, 100%. Today.
I had to do it. I'm sure
Elon, if you're listening to this, I'll beta. Like, what do I need to do? What waiver needs to be signed? I'm all in.
Me too, Elon. Me too. I want one.
So it's preference to your point. We have freedom. You don't have to do any of this. It is up to you how you want to use the technology. We're going to go ahead and end here. We're going to cue the music in a moment. As you know, go ahead in the comments. If there's any topics you would like us to cover, let us know. This has been a great amount of fun doing some research on things we may not necessarily know about. So go ahead and drop those comments, hit like and subscribe. Also, if you are in the tech space and have different hardware or software you want to beta test, Ken and I are up for it. Just let us know. We'll be in touch. And on that note, thanks for tuning into the CatBot AI. Meow meow. Until next time.
Meow meow.